What's going on, ladies and gents? Rocco Brown from MyGamingJourney.com. And if you're new here, we are back with another 1v1 evaluation or analysis of this respective game. This particular game I am playing is Japanese. As you know, I am primarily a House of Lancaster Lane, interesting. House of Lancaster, Maine, excuse me. Primarily my go-to civ that I do play. I do play some English, a little Japanese, a little Ottoman, but primarily House of Lancaster games for the most part. So yet again, at the time of this recording, I am a gold 3. I am playing against a Mongols player at this point in time for this respective recording, and we are going to see how this played out. Now, bear in mind, I am not a pro in any way, shape, or form. I am not here to give you pro-based knowledge. I'm simply here to go over and evaluate my respective games and basically give you my infinite goal knowledge and basically look at some of the pros, the cons, things that I could potentially do better, things that I probably did wrong, and just ways that I could potentially go about improving. Okay, so let's dive into the game. Let's go from there. Let's see what we're working with. I picked up a F the meta build. I was watching the video and I think it was Corvinius. I think that's how you say my man's name. Who actually came up with this respective build. So nothing special, nothing too intense. This might be the first or second Japanese game that I've played in a very long time. But primarily, if I remember correctly, the way he went about this quote unquote F the meta build was essentially um, gold, a few on wood, and food. So primarily rallying and balancing your economy with food and gold, basically to push out and rally a bunch of samurai. So I got a lot, very, very close to the daggone town center of the enemy. Don't do that. Don't be like me. Be better. But here I am just on the map trying to grab some sheep, see what my opponent is doing. This is a matchup I tend to struggle with Mongols, me personally, and not necessarily as a Japanese, just they can be a headache for House of Lancaster early on. I just am not a fan of horse archers. I think I do a relatively decent job overall, but even in this game, I do a relatively decent job of pressure that they were trying to put on me, if I remember. But this is a rather long game, so we're going to be at it for a while. But I got about how many sheep right now? Click. There we are. So about 5 sheep. I see that my opponent is going to end up grabbing a dock, I believe. So once I scout around, we will see a dock, if I remember correctly, over on this left side over here. So we will see. But a few more sheep. Eight our split currently is 8-2, and that was essentially what Corvinus, if that's how you say my man's name, was going for. So literally 2 on gold, 8 on food. I believe it might be 4 on wood, might be less. And then I believe at that point in time, you're just rallying food and gold for the rest of the game. All right, so ideally, going to turn around and just continue to produce barracks and continue to produce samurai. Barracks, samurai, barracks, samurai, right? So it's literally a push. Now, on this map, I would say it's definitely ideal, not so much just because it's the Mongols and not so much because it's an amazing build. I think it's great. I ended up winning with it, but I'm sure anyone with a brain can definitely counter it with a little more scouting. But the reason I say it's good is primarily just because the rush distances aren't that large. You know what I mean? So let's take a look, and I want to reveal everything. So you're going to see me very soon actually taking a worker out on the base and actually moving him across the map to start building barracks, right? So it's essentially, I don't want to say a cheese type build, but for lack of better words, I guess that's what we can call it, right? A cheese type build. Um, so getting the tower about the gold. As we've discussed in the last game, if you did check out the last game, I'm a person that tends to struggle with in-base raids, right? So one thing that's hard for me, my reaction time might be the greatest, but if I have a tower around my respective resources that I'm gathering, then naturally my workers can, of course, just go in the respective tower. So take a quick look over here, see what my guy's doing. Gathering more sheep. Ended up going for a dock. Maybe he didn't go for a dock. Maybe it was a bit later. Or it might just be a different Mongols game. But let's get back over to what we have going on. So immediately we did age up with the core storehouse. One thing, just a quick side note for me personally, I tend to struggle with my Japanese, and I struggle with the food consumption, right? You would think it would be relatively easy because the core storehouse, you're getting automatically 8 farms naturally, but in addition to the 8 farms, it's just the transition. Like I'll find myself going around the map getting food resources, but by the time those food resources exhaust, unfortunately, I'm late on doing my farm transition, and my wood may not be the greatest as it was early in the game. You know what I mean? So what's going to happen is as I'm building this one barracks here at home, and then I'm going to start taking that worker and start building barracks closer towards his base. So 13 on food, 2 on gold steel, 4 on wood. That has not changed. Naturally, I should be moving food workers over as these farms are spawning. But there's our first worker. Barracks is up, and then now I'm literally walking this worker across the map, and we're going to see what other damage we can get done. So, put the barracks up here. Take a look, reveal the map. Nothing for this gentleman's stable. And let's get that off of there, okay? So, built my one samurai at home, and yet again, we're just spamming samurai. And unfortunately, I'm not making use of my farms. Don't be like me. Be better. Definitely be a little bit more observant. I am happy that I was a lot more active with my scout this game. So last game, very, very inactive. He was just sitting there 99.9% of the time. And what I just started doing was just shift clicking a lot around the base more and more. So it may not be the most effective, but at least even if I'm not paying attention, as you can see, I am getting updates of what's going on around his base. So in other words, when I say updates, even on the mini map, I'll be able to see the shadow, and then I can jump back up and take a look at what's going on. So first 2 samurai are out, 3 samurai are out, 2 barracks going up around here, and the idea is to rally and start just rallying samurai into the base. The reason I built my first barracks inside the base is because I don't want it to be suspicious if he's scouting around and not seeing any production buildings whatsoever, right? So ideally, the ideal and the plan was to build more of my barracks and production buildings all around his base, right? And that's the primary function and the go-to, but I don't want it to be super suspicious if he's scouting around and it's like, okay, where is production, where is this, where is that, right? So nothing too special. 15 on food, 4 on wood steel, nothing has changed. Barracks for Japanese only cost 75 wood, so that's essentially why the less on wood made perfect sense, and that was super smart when Corvinus mentioned that. I'm like, okay. So my worker's still building barracks. I got another one. Hold that thought. We have some horses, but in addition to that, another barracks. And now I'm moving those inside the base. These bad boys are relatively strong. And I think this is when he realized that I was in the base. Right? And I was right. He did end up going down and putting a dock up. So what I immediately should have did, I should have, yet again, I was shift clicking them or just A moving them. So instead of moving them into the wood line or moving them onto the resources like I should have, right, to start interfering, that would have been better. But unfortunately, I just A moved, and then boom, here we are attacking things that we essentially should be attacking right now, right? So now I get a little bit more sense. Now I want to move them into... Maybe I want to move them into a place that they should be moved into. Who really knows? The wood line, the gold, something. Just anything. Move them somewhere. But here we are. I think I get a decent chunk of damage done here. 1, 2. Not paying attention anymore, but at least I finally moved into the villagers. Okay, decent chunk done. So at this point in time, as you can see, I'm still not doing amazing. I should be doing a lot more behind this. 15 on food, 12 on gold, 3 on wood. And another thing that I could have been doing, just siege engineering. Could have finished this game a lot sooner, more than likely. So 17 on food, 4 on wood, 12 on gold in the base, and these bad boys easily. Researching, what is this right now? Okay. Increasing our damage. It's special. So my thought process was at this point in time, I knew that he has a decent chunk of horses. I was like, he's probably going to come and return the favor or attempt to return the favor. And I just got so one-sided that I'm still producing samurai everywhere, right? So samurais being produced, basically tunnel vision, haven't stopped, right? Probably should have attempted at this point in time to start the age up process. Should have failed back. There's a lot more that I could have did, because at this point in time I'm essentially up, right? When I say up, not because I'm amazing, but I'm up because I'm definitely knocked out a lot of villagers. And with that being said, as long as I hold, I should be ahead. 36, look at this, 36 villagers at 11 minutes and 10 seconds into the game compared to his 24, right? Now, it's sad that I only have 36 villagers at this stage of the game, but it is what it is. So, I'm getting economic upgrades. Those out the way. We have about 7 villagers in queue. And moving over and getting some more production. So please tell me I at least made use and I got all of my farms. Okay, so I got all of my farms situated at this point in time as of now. Should have definitely put a lot more on wood at this point, but at least we do have the 10 or a 7 on there now. And now he's starting to clean up and finish up a lot of the different production buildings that I had on that side of the map. So I see him, he's getting ready to move across the map, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's coming now to return the favor. I do have those 2 chunks of units on both sides. Let's see what we can make happen. I don't have much at home, unfortunately, but I figure that should be enough to move him back, right? In the event that he wants to make his way over onto that side. And while he's distracted with that one, I was like, all right, we'll move those in. So I did a little bit better with my multitasking this time around. Not amazing, but it was something. So I'm knocking out a few more workers on this end, and this is when I'm like, okay, he has a decent chunk of army. But here we are, doing a decent chunk of damage. We're down, got him down to 20 economy. So my thought process is okay, as long as I can hold when this imminent attack comes, I will be okay, right? The problem is if you're looking at his army now and you're looking at mine, we may have a problem because can I really hold? So let's see how that plays out, right? But 12 on gold, look at this. Ton of gold. So I'm sitting there floating gold for days, no food. I should have re-macroed a bit. pulled a lot of those workers off of gold, got more on food, and literally started pushing for the age up process. Another thing that I should have did is I started putting walls around as well, just to try to keep him on the outskirts. Here, that's the thought process that I start doing now. Terrible reaction time. What did I tell ya? Not amazing. Not amazing at all. And naturally, I'm like, I need archers because we know that those headaches are here. Okay, lost a few workers. Now here's where we have a problem. I'm producing workers now, right? But he's at 20. I'm at 44. My worker count should be a lot better. Out of there. Micro is terrible, as you can see. Definitely need to do a lot better there. Something I needed to improve upon last game, as I mentioned, need to improve upon still. Not as bad as it was last game, but definitely not the worst either. So I'm pumping out more archers because I know those will be a lot more beneficial. I still have production buildings on his other side of his map, or his side of the map. So I have units streaming across, trying to cut off. Get inside. Good, 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 good. Have everyone streaming. Archer should be a lot closer towards the main army because those mounted archers that he has is just running around and picking off all of my units. We don't want that. Look at that. Donate units, ladies and gents. Don't be like me, be better. So, I know those force archers aren't going to do much to my buildings. I know literally as long as I stay out the way and kind of play a more defensive position, I will be fine. Look at all of this gold. What another thing that I should have did in hindsight, because hindsight is 2020, I should have just dropped down the market, sold a lot of that gold, bought a lot of food, and then I could have had what I needed to have to age up. So I know he's probably going to be pushing on the left side. What did I do on this side? Okay, yeah, so he went back up here. Try to get these out the way, which was smart. He's seen things streaming across the map, and at this point in time, I'm like, okay, let me add some more production, because I feel like we are going to be fighting here in feudal a lot longer, because I cannot seem to get my butt up to that. Losing workers, getting cooked. Put another tower up, great, but that doesn't do any good if the reaction time is terrible. Pull back, hopefully. Okay. So, what we're looking at now, 49 workers to his 29 workers. Still ahead, right? And I believe, if I remember correctly, he's a Platinum 1. Platinum 1, maybe Platinum 2. So like, yet again, I'm not playing amazing, but I'm still trying to hold my own in the grand scheme of things. I'm out of gold, so I now know that I need to make a play and get some gold somewhere, because I don't have any more here. So the next play I think is here, but we'll see what I end up doing. I have more than enough gold to age, which is not the problem right now. The issue is just that I don't have food, right? So if I remember correctly, what I end up doing, this was another bad move. I start making battering rams. And I say bad simply because my primary focus should be aging at this point in time. Naturally, battering rams only cost wood. Okay, cool. But the focus, yet again, I really just needed food, so I could go up to 3. So we're sitting at this knucklehead coming inside for another raid, and look who's getting destroyed. Lost a lot more workers than I needed to. We're down to 41 workers. horses out the way, which was nice. And look who's just stagnant. So I was like, let's get back to fighting underneath the tower. He's okay. Good. Put that back on. So I knew I needed to get that wall up. Go. I'm like, yeah, rock getting together. So one thing that I do that's terrible. Alright, so yes, it's good and bad. For me, I have all of my units on permanent hotkeys, unit type. So here's what I mean by that. So infantry is number 1, archers is number 2, number 3 is siege, and number 4 is cavalry. It comes in hand earlier in the game if I need to, grab units relatively quickly. But the issue is sometimes if I have like pockets of units in different places, I'll forget to individually hotkey things, and that's an issue, right? Because I'll have units on yet again the other side of the map trying to run across the map when they should not be doing so. Right, so I figured, okay, he's putting a lot of pressure on me. Let me do this. This will start alleviating some of that pressure. In other words, he'll pull back those units, and I can get back to business as usual. Cool. But yet again, I still haven't put things on respective hotkeys and. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can get a few more workers done and out the way. But guess who doesn't focus on the workers? Control. So yet again, going into cons. Number 1, more map awareness. We lost entirely too many workers, number 1, in this area and in this area, even though we had respective towers that should have been able to house everyone. So my map awareness is terrible. Here we are up here. I was like, all right, let me focus on knocking out a few more worker kills while he's over here. So at least I was cognizant enough to do that. And what's he down to at this point in time? 36 worker kills. So I was like, okay, I'm okay with sacrificing this army, not the end of the world. I did walk away with a decent of worker kills, but we literally are armyless at this point, which is an issue. Long story short, getting back to the topic at hand. So, getting the wall up, I need to be more cognizant. Definitely could have threw up another tower, 10 workers on gold. More map awareness to make sure I'm throwing people inside the towers when I need to. I need to be sure that I'm not getting locked into quote-unquote builds. Like the Corvinus build is just like keep the 4 on the wood, gold and food for the rest of the map. Rebalance is needed with gold and food, and just focus on that and push with samurai, etc. till you finish the game. Win, lose, draw. In that regard, right? So I sat in that logic for entirely too long, and I had 4 on wood up until maybe 30 seconds ago, as you can see. So being a little bit more flexible, being a little bit more loose, and going from there. One thing, so that's very, very big con, map awareness, remacroing, making sure I can control group a lot more, right? I was like, I definitely need to make sure I do that. So finally dropped the market. I was like, all right, Rocco, you're sitting at on 23, 24 minutes into the game, and we 2,500 worth of gold, and still not enough food to go up to 3, right? So as you can see, I started buying food. I'm like, all right, let's do this. So I'm going up now, and that's essentially we got our wall complete. I'm going up with the floating gates. That's the thought process, and if I remember correctly, he still actually ages up even before me, which is crazy to me, right? 51 workers, 45 workers. He was down over 20 workers and caught up, so that just goes to show you another thing that I need to improve upon is to continually make workers, y'all. Like, I'll find myself making units, let's say when things start getting hairy, but I'll mess around and forget to produce workers, which becomes an issue in and of itself. So my thought process was, is the moment I go up to 3, I can start pumping out some mounted samurai. Let's take a quick look at what we're sitting at. Barracks. We have what? 5 barracks, 2 stables, 4 archery ranges. Okay. And look who's on this side, coming back down over to my goal. He's not within range, but I think I panicked. So he can't get inside. Yeah, I end up panicking. He can't get inside yet, and I realized, I'm like, okay. So I was like, let me come over here. Let's collect wood from over there. We'll leave that alone instead of coming back on this side, and then let me get ready to take this fight over here, right? I'm pumping out units, mounted samurai, horsemen, on a musha, on a Bageisha, and hardened samurai. So I'm like, okay, he's coming in. Not reacting, not reacting, not reacting. Shouldn't have lost him. Shouldn't have lost any. Shouldn't have lost any. Guess who's not pulling back? Guess who's not going anywhere? So I was like, I had enough sense. I'm like, let me get this wall back up. But I lost so many workers, it's not even funny at this point. However, I'm like, he could lose his entire army. I don't think he's walking away here, but he's killed a ton of villagers, y'all. Like a ton. So was it worth it for him? Absolutely. I'm down to 45 villagers. He's up to 52. How does that even happen? See, my boy, like, in the sense of, like, there shouldn't have been that much damage at all. So I'm like, all right, let's regroup. I'm not catching any of those, and he's just picking people off. So 12 on gold at this point, 14 on wood, and 20 on food. 46 workers. I'm at age 3. He's at age 2. We're going to try to make a play now. Upgrade-wise, I believe I'm doing relatively decent. Let's take a quick look at our forge. So I'm at literally pretty much +2 of everything. Let's come up here and take a look inside, just to get an idea. Idea of what's going on here. Oh, should I be focusing on that? No. I do have a lot of units streaming across. I should have been looking for more workers. That's what I should have been looking for. But my thought process is I could brute force my way in, and here we are with no wood, a little bit to gold, a little bit of food. Getting upgrades, yes, but not much to show for it, and I'm losing army after army after army. More upgrades are coming in. I know in a straight up fight, I'm going to beat him. I'm ahead in upgrades at this point. But I'm not doing the economic damage that I needed to immediately. So, come back down. I'm like, all right, now that I have mounted samurai, I can really push the issue a bit more. I don't think I have... Did I get any relics as of yet? No. No relics. Look who I just have sitting around. So these bad boys are just sitting, unfortunately. Have not picked up any relics, have not put them in anything. I'm not even using them with the army. There we go. So finally. Now I got one going off, looking for a relic. Got the other one. Okay. Should have definitely put one of those bad boys in the stable. But nonetheless, neither here nor there. So 19 on food, 14 on wood, 1 on gold. definitely need more food consumption. We have one katana bannerman. We're lacking on our other bannermen, but upgrade wise, we're doing relatively solid. Taking a look at this little score, neither here nor there because this can be deceiving, but you can see I'm actually doing something. But I finally picked up a relic, which is a good thing. And at this point in time, I know I'm getting ready to make a play over to Fist Gold. Maybe I'm making a play for the food first. Yeah, but I know gold will be soon. So, just a quick look. I just want to see where he's sitting at. 54 villagers, 56 villagers for me. And here we are trying to squad up and make a play in the middle. So this is what's going on, ladies and gents. Yet again, limited gold knowledge here. I am not a Japanese main. I don't want you to crucify me. Pro-wise, I talked about a lot of cons. Pro-wise, I feel like I transitioned and made some decisions that were good, i.e. the market. The problem is I didn't transition and make these decisions a lot quicker. I was sitting on and floating over 2,000 or 3,000 gold, so the market decision was good, but the market decision would have been even better had I made it 15 minutes ahead of time. You know what I mean? So quick little look over on the mini map. See workers over here. Unfortunately, I didn't respond and do anything with them. One little mounted samurai, two mounted samurais, something would have been gold. Alright? He's cooking my army right now. Okay. So there I am, pushing up, at least getting... Look who's just shooting freaking the economy building. Units just shooting the economy building, y'all. Crazy. So I think this is when I pull back, get up out of there. Or maybe I just give up the army. Who really knows? Maybe I just give up everything. Who knows? But another con. All of this could have been raided. I see all of it. All of that should have been cooked. Didn't do so. Did we improve and add any production buildings? No. Still 2 stables, still 5 barracks, still 4 archery ranges. So production hasn't even increased. I decided to finally move my priests over here because I know those will help with the battle. Should have did that a lot sooner if they weren't going to go around and actually pick up relics, which they did it. Relics sitting here. Still no chapel. I actually put the relics in. Are there any more relics on the map? Just out of curiosity. We'll take a look after we finish up this engagement. We'll see. So, got these bad boys in the mix. And I think my Wololo attempted. Yeah, attempted, but nothing. At this point in time, I know I'm cooking. It's like I know I got the damage to actually push him back and win this. But still no nothing. Right? So now they're here nor there really quickly. I do want to take a look. I pull back. I'm like, let's not get greedy there. So Relic I lost and dropped. Relic in my base. Right? So 3 relics. Still no chapel anywhere. Food. Come over here and damage. That's another thing. How many sacreds was on this? So there's 2 sacreds. Okay. So my thought process is okay, let's try to continually stop any raids that come in. Definitely don't want to deal with those headaches because naturally horses just need to come through and wreck everything that I have, right? So I'd say a decent decision on my part in that regard, right? I'm trying to do everything in my power to continually stop raids. Another headache. Look at this, ladies and gents. Look who's just in the battle running around with a box. Priest is in there running around with a box. So, drop that. Good. And then I think this is what it dawns on me. I'm like, okay, let me continue to push on him, but let me also take both sacred sites. So I'm like, if I'm not doing decent with the relics, at least let me take the sacreds, and then I can go from there and push the base and force him to come out and play with me, right? So upgrade-wise, another pro. We did pretty good upgrade-wise. Look at this. Everything is at least up to 2. Did drop 2 relics. Okay, so I did end up with 2 relics. Good, 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 good. 61 economy. How his economy is looking villager-wise, 76. So, crazy. And you see, I'm not building any workers. I have no workers in queue. 35 minutes into the game. I should have already had my 100 workers. But it was like, yeah, now we're getting somewhere. Let me take these sacred sites and then let's push the issue from there. Another thing that I should have been doing as well, just a quick side note, even if I didn't start off with water, I should have actually dropped the dock because I know Japanese fishing boats are cheaper than everyone else's. So that would have definitely helped sustain food-wise as well. Didn't do none of that. Hindsight is 2020, but that's the reality of what we're working with, right? So, drop sacred, got that out the way. Now we're going down to the other one. I'm just accompanying him, and then my thought process was, is the moment I end up with both sacreds, I'm just going to have them accompany my army and fight with those bad boys, and go from there. So decent size army, nothing special. I would have loved to have more mounted samurai in here, but I just have regular horsemen, veteran horsemen. I do have a decent chunk of actual samurai, but nothing too crazy. Then we get this bad boy. And at this point in time, I know after I get these sacreds out the way, the plan in my head is to start pushing. And actually force them to take this fight. The problem is yet again, I still haven't added any more production. Added 2 siege workshops, but that's it. Like, crazy. So there's nothing worthwhile here. Big gap here, should have filled that, but neither here nor there. So let's get ready to see how this plays out and how this concludes, and go from there. At this stage, I should have went up to 4, and more importantly, another thing that I could have did, I could have actually made use of this market. Not only took this sacred site, dropped that bad boy, it's not sacred site, relics, which is in my base, neither here nor there, but I actually should have started producing traders. So, anyway. We have our priest as part of the army, and now I'm just going to try to brute force and push through here, right? See what we can get done. I know Japanese units are relatively strong in my humble opinion, so let me back that up, and then now start sieging down like that, and alright, okay. Like, we're gonna try to get that surround off. We will see. So the priests are still in there doing their thing, which is nice. And I know I should be able to cook somewhat, but I'm just gonna keep reinforcing with my limited production buildings. Look at these bad boys cooking, y'all. Spearmen, samurai, everybody's cooking. So I'm like, I think I have it like literally in my head, my limited knowledge. I'm like, yeah, I should be able to pull this off. My priests are still alive. Army's not dying. At least not the full army. And I'm like, I should be able to continue to just brute force my way through here. Able to brute force. There we go. And this is essentially kind of how it plays out. Bad boy in there. More mounted samurai coming. More veteran horsemen coming. Gold is terrible. Yet again, remacroing would have been nice. 15 on gold, 27 on food, 20 on wood. Caravan should have been going. And now I'm just A moving at this point, right? Just A moving. Get to rituals. I have a few more bannermen showing up, which is nice. And I'm just A moving, right? So yeah, streaming across the map. Here we go. Did I saw I dropped something here? Okay, bare minimum. So a town center. At least I was thinking ahead that I knew my gold consumption needed to be gold and wood. Prepared for that. And I'm just streamlining with more and more priests. So that's how that played out, ladies and gents. We actually took the dub there. This is maybe my first or second game playing Japanese in a very long time. Can't say I'm pleased with the performance. I am pleased with the victory. As I mentioned, he was Platinum 1, I believe. And yet again, at the time of this, I'm a Gold 3. But there's so many more things that I need to do better and improve upon. Let's come back down there. I want to see what that was. I don't think it was this one. It might have been the Dragon game. No, that's going to be... Yeah, it was this one. So he was gold, platinum 1 at the time of this recording. I was gold 3. Um, and it was, like this was nothing special on my end, right? Like in retrospect, we had a relic that was sitting in the base that I never picked up and never put into the actual, we'll just call it the chapel, right? So I would have at least had 3 relics. I did nothing with that. I had a ton of gold I was floating. Should have dropped the market 20 minutes earlier into the game. I literally would have been up at age 3. Never did that. I should have had the actual caravans or the traders actually going over to the trade post that was on my side of the map. That definitely would have helped with more gold consumption and just a better economy overall because I could have been buying and selling things just across the board. I did not do that. Um, but pros wise, I am happy that I did identify in dropping a market, right? I am happy that I actually did do villager damage. My scouting was a lot better pro wise than my last game. So I was definitely a lot more active with my scout. I wasn't as active later in the game. Should have, to be able to know what he was doing across the board. But definitely a lot better than the last game progress wise. What else? Um, Con, I was definitely very rigid. I sat on 4 workers or 4 villagers on wood for God knows how long, and that did not need to happen. That should have been rebalanced and remacroed a lot quicker, a lot sooner, but neither here nor there. So score wise, just a quick look. Score wise, deceiving, but I did better there. Um, Largest army 147. I wish I could see here how many villager kills that I got, but unfortunately that's not going to show, I don't believe. Technology, I knew I was doing a lot better than him research wise. I know my research was booming. Um, so that was great. And then 2 relics captured. Villager high, he still walked away with a higher villager high than me, which makes no sense, right? That's an issue on my end. So, neither here nor there. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you for checking this out. Definitely feel free to leave your comments below. I am looking to improve. I mean that in the utmost humble way as possible. Please keep all comments respectful and, more importantly, keep them on topic, right? Definitely feel free to check out the live stream. I definitely go live currently Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays throughout the day. Um, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I definitely periodically go live here and there. But Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you can find links in the description. You can find schedules, all of the above. Yet again, Rocco Brown from mygamingjourney.com. And yeah, man, until the next video, thank you again. Appreciate you checking it out. Feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we'll do this again another time.